Let's just take a look at that market yesterday. Nice boost. One of the few sessions that we saw the NSE 20 ending in the good. What really boosted stock trade yesterday?
Thank you very much, Samantha. Good summary of our market. We're looking at it in terms of how the market has been performing, especially in the recent past. We've been seeing a lot of flight to quality with a lot of the people opting to shift to treasury bills and treasury bonds because of the interest rates which have been going up. But looking at it in terms of the market, just like you mentioned, we've been seeing a few corporate actions coming in and also a bit of speculative activity, especially in anticipation of Q2 results for most of the banks.
Looking at British American Tobacco, that stock had a nice rally, up 5% yesterday. Investors could be rushing in to take advantage of that recently declared dividend payout at 3 shillings 50 cents per share. What's your take on that stock's rally?
Well, looking at BATS, they recently announced their half-year results and their revenues were up 14%, which is a good indicator of the performance of the company. And also looking at it in terms of the fact that it's their half-year, hopefully if they continue with the same trend to the end of the year, they should still be able to sustain their profitability. And looking at it in terms of their dividend policy, which has been fairly good for the recent past, definitely that's one stock that most investors who are keen on dividends are very good at in terms of getting into. And also looking at it in terms of its share price, especially the trend for the last few months, we've seen it drop from a high of 295 and now it's trading at around 260. So definitely also investors are also keen on taking advantage of that so that they can be able to still position themselves just in case it's able to still return good performance as compared to last year.
In terms of competition, though, local competition in Kenya has meant lower pricing and margin pressure. We've also had a new excise duty regime in Kenya after the recently announced budget. Could this offset some of the revenue growth that you're anticipating in the second half of the year?
Well, for an industrial stock, definitely some of the things that might affect them, especially in terms of their output and pricing, is some of the issues that you've mentioned. Competition is a major factor that might eat into their top line. Also, looking at it in terms of their performance, definitely in the industry, especially noting the new rules in the excess duty taxes, definitely that might also eat into their bottom line. But looking at it in terms of how they have been able to perform, especially in the past, these are some of the challenges that definitely affect some of these product producing companies, and hopefully they'll be able to still try to see whether they can be able to cut on cost to still be able to sustain their profitability and also keep the shareholders happy.
Any red flags, though, around the net negative cash position of the company? It was fairly unchanged at 2.34 billion shillings at the end of June, in negative 2.34 billion.
Yes, of course. There's definitely some of the things that you're also being very keen on, and hopefully they'll still be able to sustain their performance. And right now, looking at it, especially in terms of how they have done this first half, and in line of the negative news that we've been receiving, hopefully some of these positive sentiments that are coming through are going to be able to still support the stock.
Strong appetite coming through for Coop Bank yesterday. That share price rising almost 2% on the day. This is a favorite bank of yours. What type of earnings are you pricing in with second quarter results being released soon?
Well, looking at it in terms of the bank, especially looking at how they performed last year, we saw the stock go up almost 100% in terms of capital gains, which was already an indicator. We also saw them getting awarded as the best performing bank of the year. And looking at them, especially in terms of their model, is one of the things that I really like, especially in terms of the cooperative movement, which they're being able to take advantage of and position themselves very well into. Also, their expansion strategy, which has been very well managed, and some of the things that you're able to take advantage of, especially in terms of ensuring that they manage their expenses for this year, is also another thing that might be able to help them to sustain their profitability. Looking at it in terms of the challenges that we've been seeing, especially in the first half, hopefully they can be able to manage their costs and try to ensure that they manage their loan book as well, so that they can be able to cover for any defaults and make necessary provisions. We should expect the company to still sustain their profitability going forward.
One of the key focus areas for the bank has been the SMME space. What type of headway has it made into this, and how do you expect this to play out in its results?
Well, looking at it in terms of their strategy, especially in terms of boosting some of the microfinance enterprises and small and medium enterprises, we've been seeing them positioning themselves very well to be able to take advantage of that, especially in terms of the branch network and also in terms of the kind of clientele that they try to target. And also just like you've mentioned, you're hoping that they'll be able to still boost their performance, especially in terms of taking advantage of some of these key aspects in terms of ensuring that they keep their customers loyal and also to sustain their profitability in terms of being able to boost some of these revenues. And hopefully the half one results should be still in the range of strong single digit or double digit, hopefully.
Your favorite stock pick today?
Yes, Cooperative Bank, and I'm also looking at Kenya Commercial Bank.
Just looking at the agricultural sector, we saw mixed play there. We had falls in Kukuzi and Kapchorua, but we had Rio Pingo rising yesterday, leading the gainers board. Your thoughts on what's playing out in that sector?
Well, looking at the agricultural sector, just like you mentioned, we are having a bit of a challenge, especially as an economy, because of the agricultural forecast. Rainfall output has not been as good, and also that definitely affects some of the production of some of these companies. But looking at it in terms of the currency front, you're seeing the weakening of the shilling is favoring exporters, and hopefully that should be able to position them very well. Tea output and prices have also been very strong, and hopefully we're going to be able to see that being translated into the earnings of some of these companies. But the mixed reactions are already an indicator that the foreign exchange performance might not really be able to translate into earnings for some of these companies, and also the output aspect of it, if at all it's not going to be that strong, it might not still be able to cushion their revenues. And hopefully if the rains come through, the companies might still be able to sustain their performance as for what we saw last year. But going forward, I guess it's a very dynamic situation for them.